Before SCP-009 is explained, the file defines how close containment lives to failure. The red substance stays inside a heat-resistant alloy tank under constant sensors and no fewer than 3 redundant cooling units, and idle temperatures are never allowed above 0 degrees Celsius. Testing moves the chamber into total vacuum, and everyone who handles SCP-009 works in full environmental protection. Afterward, equipment, personnel, and any recovered moisture are dehydrated, quarantined, or chemically desiccated because contaminated life is not treated as salvageable. SCP-009 looks like bright red distilled water, but it obeys temperature in reverse. It stays liquid only between -100 and 0, freezes above that range, and below -100 turns into a vapor like steam. Atomic examination gets nowhere. The molecule's red like ordinary water except for a redacted contradiction to standard enthalpy. And Site, xenospatial physics specialist, suggests SCP-009 may have come from a universe with different physical laws. The central hazard is not shape, but spread. When SCP-009 touches an aqueous solution, it can pass its properties into ice, steam, tea, fruit juice, seawater, blood, and other liquids, with conversion taking anywhere from minutes to many hours, depending on temperature and chemistry. D-class testing begins almost quietly. Initial exposure only produces a warming sensation while SCP-009 starts assimilating surface moisture. But as temperatures climb past 0, frost spreads across the contact area and the first crystals push up from the epidermis. Stage 3 is where restraint fails. As SCP-009 heats further, the reaction runs through deep tissue. Blood loss stays strangely low because ice crystals alter the damage, and victims can remain alive and conscious for hours while the body keeps converting. The fourth stage is not described at all. The document replaces it with expunged text. By April 23rd of 20, experiments on D-class personnel were discontinued, and the file does not disclose anything further about what Stage 4 contains. Foundation involvement begins in Alaska after a native tribe reports the mangled bodies of shipwrecked seal hunters found kilometers from the village. Every victim is encased in red ice, and the file says the ambient cold retarded total conversion by hours, allowing the victims to remain conscious until the expunged endpoint. The origin of SCP-009 remains unknown, and investigators only say the scene suggests some other SCP-related event may have occurred nearby. A later addendum confirms that the arachnoid entity recovered by MTF-B7 was actually an instance of SCP-3023, but that answer does not explain where the red substance itself came from. One correction matters because it defines the scale of the threat. The bodies lay on barren rock far enough from the sea, dry and cold enough to prevent wider contamination. And the file states plainly that if the site had been closer to water, an extinction level, event could have followed, which is why a Keter upgrade was considered. By late addenda, the Foundation treats every cold variable as a policy hazard. Supercooling experiments are suspended, liquid nitrogen is restricted, cold fusion interest is shelved, and O5 command keeps SCP-009 Euclid only on the assumption that the power stays on and nobody goes near the containment area. A recovered cross-test from another universe expands the file instead of closing it. When 10 milliliters of SCP-009 met SCP-107 there, red snow fell for 27 minutes, grass locked into runaway freezing, and nearby plants turned bright red, grew cyan tentacles, and secreted tiny beads of SCP-009. So the official status ends in an uneasy balance. SCP-009 is still Euclid, still held in a sealed heat-resistant tank under redundant cooling, still able to contaminate almost any water it touches, and still of unknown origin, which means the Foundation's current posture is simple: keep it cold, keep it dry, and never let it reach a wider system.